Another day of work.
Of course.
It's okay. I got another,
I'm more worried about the lip. Can we get a woot woot for Barbara? Oh, Brittany. Brittany, close your legs.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, Bobs.
Close your legs.
Oh, how you doing?
Not too bad. Yourself?
Yeah, not bad, not bad.
Good evening. Do I have the plaintiff for the first case being Mr. Ibrahim versus Victoria Police here?
Yes,
Is that going to be you, Mr. Ibrahim?
This side, does that
that is me.
the police?
Just confirming for the record you're wishing to self-represent.
That's a good question.
Indeed, I am.
Thank you. Just be advised, we do need to collect your application fee before you leave the courthouse at the end of the proceedings.
Of
Do I
course.
have a representative from Victoria Police here?
Brittany,
Yes, sir.
something.
Can you please identify yourself for the record?
Sitting Lieutenant Constable Andrew Clemens.
Thank you. To begin with, obviously just confirming the matter here is regards to a weapons prohibition order that has been placed against Mr. Ibrahim here. Mr. Ibrahim, you believe that this weapons prohibition order is unjust and should be revoked? Is this still correct?
Indeed, yes.
Okay. Victoria Police, is it of your opinion that such a weapons prohibition order is in fact just and should remain?
Correct, that's the position of Victoria Police at this time.
Okay, in that case, that's going to be the hearing for today. Mr. Ibrahim, if you'd like to continue, I'd like to hear your arguments, please.
Thank you, Your Honour. So, to begin with, I understand that I have had a poor past with not only the law but also the Victorian Police. I have put their officers at harm, and I'm openly admitting this. However, this was quite a long time ago, and I have done my time, and I understand where they are coming from when they gave me the weapon prohibition order, because I was known to be armed quite a lot. However, now that I've shifted myself into the legal industries of oil refinery and working security services for a business known as Armaguard, I feel as though this weapon prohibition order is very restrictive. It causes me to become late to work multiple times. Whenever I am pulled over by the police, I understand one of the terms is that I have to get frisked and searched. It is very time consuming, and I feel as though it is also very bothersome in terms of the amount of times I get frisked. It's very invasive of my privacy. I understand once again where they are coming from and why it was handed out. You know, I've expressed sincerely my deepest apologies to Mrs. Wazowski for what I had done. To this day, I do not know who the other officer who was shot by myself in the past in that situation. However, I am truly regretful of my actions. I have moved on and become a better person. You know, I have done quite a bit for the community in terms of supplying hospitality, such as providing free kebabs at many public services. And I believe I have changed as an individual completely. And I feel as though many people can vouch for this. I feel as though even the Victorian Police may have seen this, not all of them, or some of them. However, especially being a person of my ethnicity, being a Lebanese Australian, I'm subject to a lot of discrimination. And this weapon prohibition order simply amplifies that. And I feel as though it should be revoked.
Okay, thank you very much, Mr. Ibrahim. Victoria Police, I'll take your opening statements, please. No evidence at this stage. I'll give you both a chance to bring up your evidence momentarily. But just your general stance, please.
Thank you very much, Your Honour. It's the stand of the Victorian Police at this stage that we would look to withhold any guarantee of removing the prohibition notice altogether. However, we'd be looking at a probationary period of behaviour up until the 15th of August. And if Sam was able to conduct himself in a constructive manner towards the community and show no sort of criminal activity during that time, we would then look at hearing to reinstate that with a high probability of giving him his weapons license back.
So just confirming that'll be 1 month from this point onwards? Or 1 month taking in time served?
It would be 1 month at least from this time, this hearing.
Thank you very much, Victoria Police. Mr. Ibrahim, before we go into evidence, is this a solution you'd be happy with?
I feel as though it is, once again, a bit excessive considering the amount of time I have gone without a license and being under these certain circumstances that the weapon prohibition order imposes upon me. So I do, to an extent, disagree with it. I understand, once again, where they're coming from, but I would like a better option than this.
Okay, Mr. Ibrahim, that's what the court's here for. We'll start with you, Mr. Ibrahim. For your case, largely claiming that you're a changed and reformed man, do you have any evidence, written or verbal testimony that you'd like to present?
In terms of physical evidence, I do not have any. I feel as though my actions are widely known amongst the community. As I am well aware of how my name stretches out through the community, whether it be for bad or good reasons. However, my hospitality has been made known at many public events, and I feel as though there's no denying that in terms of how I conduct myself. Just yesterday, there was a robbery at the bank, and I was there supplying free kebabs made by myself, only myself. It did cost me quite a bit. However, I did not impose any charges upon anyone, and I was offering this to everyone who wanted to come forth and have a lunch, I guess you could say. However, whilst I was doing this, an act out of my own genuine heart, I was approached by certain individuals whom I do not know the name of or recall what they look like, and not only provoked by them, but also threatened. I was hit multiple times and striked, and then I defended myself a third time, and I was injured quite badly. And this continued once again, me being provoked as always, and I feel as though it's a result of discrimination. But despite this, I continued with my good ways. I did not do anything in retaliation afterwards, as people would expect me to do. And I continue to offer my hospitality, and I would love to continue offering my free food services to not only individuals, but also the Victorian Police and to everyone, as I do not discriminate.
So to summarize your otherwise quite lengthy response to my question, the answer is no.
No.
Excellent. Victoria Police, do you have any evidence that you'd like to present or any testimony as to why you believe the month is required?
Yes, indeed. I do want to acknowledge that the Victoria Police and especially myself have known a change in behaviour in Sam in the recent few days, especially. But I would like to point to police records after the original arrest from his shooting of Mr. John Hancock. I'll go back even further to his original shooting of Barbara Wazowski. He was offered many chances to turn himself in with warrants issued for his arrest. There was a task force put out to bring Mr. Ibrahim into custody. When a marked unit was approached his vehicle, he shot that officer down as well. So I believe that his actions far outweigh his punishment so far. I will point to the days after his actions. The 20th of June, he was then charged with the possession of a with a weapon without legal authority after being searched. This is 2 days after that event. Common assault, obscene, indecent, threatening behaviour, disorderly conduct, and another charge of obscene, indecent, threatening language and behaviour. So there's a common theme there with his behaviour, even after the events that he says he's remorseful for. And we haven't really seen any big change up until the last few days. I'd also like to point to Twitter activity where Sam, again, not quite so recently, but in the days after that event, he did threaten people publicly.
Yes, Mr. Clemens, have you got anything further?
No, that would be at this stage. I just would like to say that I would have been pushing for a much lengthier prohibition, as he has discussed that his own life has been affected by his actions. But I would like the court to consider the restrictions put on one Barbara Wazowski and John Hancock, who are just trying to do their job and being shot at close range, has restricted them in many ways. And the larger community who failed to be served and protected by those two individuals while they were recovering.
So, just to clarify, because of course I understand that in times past in this courtroom, police have exaggerated circumstances. These police shootings, was there any form of aggression towards Mr. Ibrahim from the police? Was he acting in some sort of warped sense of self-defense?
Absolutely not. Well, I was witness to the second shooting where he was approached by a highway unit, John Hancock, and he was simply asked to provide ID, into which he replied with gunshots to the chest of Mr. Hancock.
I see. In the first shooting, the original shooting that started the whole series of events.
Again, Barbara Wazowski attempted what we would know as a code 4 with a gentleman, walked up to his window, without much dialogue, was fired upon by the individual.
Mr. Ibrahim, is this your recollection of events?
It is accurate to some extent, but not exactly.
What is your recollection of events, please, Mr. Ibrahim?
I did, like they said, I did shoot these officers within the same time period. I think it was about a day and just overnight. I did shoot Mrs. Wazowski and go on a run. I had multiple warrants out for my arrest, I understand. However, I believe there is much context to all these charges that they are mentioning, especially all of these indecent words used and all these other fines and charges that have been brought up on my name. I've been multiple times provoked by the Victorian police. In terms of Miss Wazowski's shooting, I was in a bad state of mind personally due to family issues, and I had multiple fines under my name, once again stacked up by Victorian police, which I did not understand at the time, as no officer had made them clear to me. I did not have the funds or means to sort them out, and becoming a nervous person I was armed at the time, and I was not in the right mental state of mind, and I fired at their chest, not at their head, at their chest, which I knew they wear armor. So I was hoping that they wouldn't die, of course. But at the time, my mentality was to send a message, I guess you could say. And then after I went on the run and I was caught at a club known as the Unicorn, Officer Hancock came up to me. And once again, I became very nervous because I was, of course, on the run and I knew the consequences. I didn't know exactly what to do. And I basically grabbed my gun and fired multiple shots. Now, after I was taken in for this, I will just clarify, I did shoot his vest intentionally once again. But after I was taken in by them, no mental assessment was done on myself. I was quite neglected. The treatment of my wounds was quite poor, to be exact. I was handled roughly, which I would understand to some extent after what I had done to their fellow colleagues. However, once again, I am still a human being. They did not assess my mentality or why I did certain things. And the events after that day, as to the other charges that they bring up, such as my threatening language and whatnot, I'm a person that is, as always, provoked. It wouldn't be hard to see this. If you were to monitor me for one day without anyone knowing except for myself, you would see exactly how I get provoked by not only the Victorian police, but the public, especially on Twitter, as it is a place for anyone to, speak from closed doors, speak anonymously and do as they please. So where I have been indecent towards police, it has been provoked, especially to others, it has been provoked. I do not intentionally want to harm anyone as of recently or at all anymore because I have gone through therapy and whatnot. That is my recollection of the events.
Thank you, Mr. Ibrahim. A few things. Mr. Ibrahim, this is where you should have had a legal counsel. It is not the Victorian Police's responsibility to assess your mental capacity. If you had a legal counsel, they could have you assessed. If you were found to have some sort of mental disability, that would be admissible in court. However, as it isn't, and as you have not provided a psychiatric statement of any kind from a registered psychologist. I cannot take that into account when making these decisions. Furthermore, your comments about being provoked. Just a quick question of the officers in the room. Leading Senior Constable, I'll have you answer this for me. There are two vehicles at a red light. One of them starts revving their engine. The other takes this as a sign that they're going to race. Both vehicles speed past two highway patrol vehicles who catch them on the radar for speeding. Which suspect gets charged for speeding?
The one that's caught first.
Only the one that's caught first?
Oh, they both will essentially.
I would hope so. Maybe we need to have a quick chat with Victoria Police as well. Same situation for you, Mr. Wren. Just because someone provokes you does not mean you have the right to kill them. Do you understand that?
That is not what I've said so far.
Mr. Ibrahim, anytime you use a pistol or a weapon that is considered aggravated assault or a deadly weapon, which includes a vehicle or a firearm, we have to take it as your intent was to kill them. You do not fire a gun with any other intention but to kill them. That is a legal definition of a firearm.
Correct.
So say this was a self-defense argument. Say someone's broken into your home and they're taking your stuff, and you walk down the stairs and you shoot them. This comes towards my case as a murder charge. Comes across my table, we're sitting here again, it's a murder charge. If you try to argue self-defense, I'm going to ask you, what was he armed? Was he threatening you in any way with severe risk to yourself of death? If the answer is no, then you have taken the step to use lethal force against someone who is not posing an equal threat to you. And in addition to that, your license is not a right, it's a privilege. And that privilege should not be given to people who are easily provoked. It should not be given to people who are prone to fits of anger, because otherwise we end up with this situation where two people who dedicate their lives to defending this city and to defending the people, including yourself, Mr. Ibrahim, from people who will cause harm, end up getting shot. Now, it could have been other people. What happens if you felt threatened by ambulance workers? Do you understand that, Mr. Ibrahim?
I do, yes, but I
Mr.
wasn't
Ibrahim, no
intentionally
buts.
saying that. You have taken my words out of context.
Have I, Mr. Ibrahim?
You said that just because someone provokes you, you do not kill them. I've never said that someone provoked me and I wanted to kill them. I said
Ibrahim?
I've been provoked many times in terms of the charges that they were mentioning.
You said
That's
that the
why they-
Victoria Police scared you and that you felt provoked and that you fired upon them.
No, I said that I felt threatened because I had charges under my name and I did not know what to do.
So, Mr.
And like I
Wazowski,
mentioned-
before you'd shot any other police officers?
Pardon me? What did you
So,
say?
Mrs. Wazowski? Senior Sergeant Wazowski, when you shot her before there was a warrant out for your arrest,
Yes. What about her?
you didn't have charges out against you then, did you?
No, I did. I had fines under my name that I couldn't pay off.
You had
And I
fines
didn't
under
know
your
the
name that you couldn't pay
consequences.
off.
And I didn't
And
know the
you-
consequences.
You felt that lethal force was justified because you couldn't pay your fines.
At the time, due to my mental capacity at the time, yes,
Your mental capacity at the time.
indeed.
Mr. Ibrahim, if someone else had said that to you in this court, I'd charge them with contempt, as I'd take that as an insult. Are there any further questions, Leading Senior Constable, or anything that you would like to bring before the court before I make my decision?
No, you know where I stand. I believe that the court should reassess the situation 1 month from now.
Mr. Ibrahim, anything from yourself before I make my decision?
Not at all.
Thank you, Mr. Ibrahim. I'm just going to retire to my chambers and discuss this. I'm going to read over the relevant legislation. This is the first case of its type that has appeared before the court. You may all remain seated until such time.
Hey, Bob.
Yeah, yes, Mr. Easties. Oh, judge is back.
Beautiful.
Mr. Ibrahim, leading senior constable, I've come to my decision. Based on the leading senior constable's recommendation, I will entertain his idea of a 1-month probation period. However, I'm not going to guarantee the outcome of said month. It is not a 1-month probation period, Mr. Ibrahim, where at the end of it, if you have done nothing wrong, I'm going to revoke the police's weapons prohibition order on yourself. In fact, Mr. Ibrahim, what it is a 1-month period, and after which I will accept another application from yourself to come before the court. We will discuss again at that time your mental capacity, to use your own words, and to also discuss your nature of being provoked and whether you should be given a firearm. I remind you again that a firearm is a lethal weapon. Having that in the hands of someone who is easily provoked is not something this court will ever condone, Mr. Ibrahim. So I suggest that next time when you come before the court, you bring yourself some character witnesses, psychiatrists, and I'd also recommend some legal representation as well.
All right, thank you.
Leading Senior Constable, is Victoria Police satisfied with this outcome?
Yes, Your Honour.
Excellent. In that case, court is adjourned. Everyone, you may file out through the back.
Nice work, Leading Senior Constable.
Yep, very
Was
well
that
done.
alright for you, Barbara? It wasn't
Very
too
well done.
stressful.
No, very well done.
Good
Is it
outcome.
very good, you know?
outcome.
You know, I think that we should try and help
Sorry.
him. I honestly do. But we couldn't just give it back to him.
Nope, no, it's good.
Think-
See how
I
he
think
goes
when-
after a month, see what he can come up with.
I agree. I think a month's a good time for him to display appropriate behaviour and all that sort of stuff, and we'll meet back here. Hopefully, he's a better man.
Exactly.
Let's go see if we can get one of his free kebabs.
All right, you have a good day.
The mixed grill. Let's go. All right, Paul, let's go.
Yes.
Gotta get
On
the
the
judge
front
home
car.
safely.
Front car again, Bobs.
Yeah, yes, please. All right, all clear.
Oh, clear out here, looks.
All right. Whoa, whoa! Shut.
Gunshots.
Emergency, police, fire, or ambulance.
Maximus 269. Shots fired at car park at police, the courthouse. Get in the Kia, Judge. I'm unlock it.
Leading Senior, it's not unlocked.
Try now.
God. Can I hide in here with you guys?
Raise your hands in the air and then try.
Yep. Can I do this?
It's not
Can I
working,
just-
Senior Sarge.
Hide here for a bit.
God
I do
damn it.
not want to get shot.
I saw 3 suspects across.
I don't know what the fuck I saw.
I saw a gentleman
my
with shaved sides on his head with his hair slicked back in the middle.
Whereabouts was he? Sam.
Judge, get in the Kluger. This fucking thing's not working.
Oh my God.
Out of the way.
Whoa,
Get out of the
man.
way.
Can
Back
I
up.
put my hands down? They're
Whoa.
getting sore.
Get out the way, man. Get out the way, please. Let him go.
Hey, buddy.
Oh,
You alright? Oh my
Yeah, I heard a
fucking
bullet.
God, that was...
Location of judge now.
Yeah, go ahead. Yeah, copy that.
Emergency, police, fire, or ambulance.
Go priority 1 to code 7, go get a gas. 619, sorry, get a gas. Then responding to 000 about the shooting.
565 will be going to that priority 1. I'm in the Bearcat. I do have to get my taser at least.
Bob, no cars following us?
No, nothing following us.
Okay, we'll drop the judge just around the corner now.
All right, well done.
565 will be diverting to the rest of the ambulance.
They're all going Friday 1 to the direct to the ambulance.
Thank you, Constable. Thank you, Senior Sergeant.
You're welcome, Judge. Glad to get you home
Right,
safe.
not a problem. That was nearly got a bit hairy, didn't it?
Yeah, well, look, it's not the first time.
Fucking Kia car lock's not unlocking.
That was interesting. You may want to get mechanics to take a look at that, and if they're shortchanging you, you're welcome to my courthouse anytime.
All right, thank you very much. Well done.
You two have a good day. I'm going to go rest this up.
All
Thank
right.
you, Judge. Stay safe.